Good evening. Welcome to the Cape Charles Town Council Executive Session and Special Meeting, April 8, 2021. Can I get a roll call?
Buckholz present.
Holloway present.
Bennett present.
Grossman present.
Fulmer present.
Let it be known we've established a quorum. Can I get a motion to go into closed session for Code of Virginia 2.2-3711-A, paragraph 1, discussion, consideration, or interviews of prospective candidates for employment, assignment, appointment, promotion, performance, demotion, salaries, disciplining, or resignation of specific public officers, appointees, or employees of any public body, specifically interviews of potential appointees for interim council seat.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're now in closed session. May the members of the public leave the room, please.
Other than the interviewee.
Ms. Libby, would you mind inviting the members of the public back into the room, please? All righty.
There are no members of the public present.
There are no members. Can I get a motion to return into open session?
Second.
Certification to the best of each member's knowledge. 1, only public business matters lawfully exempted from the open meeting requirements under this chapter, and 2, only such public business matters as were identified in the motion by which the closed meeting was conveyed were heard, discussed, or considered in the meeting by the public body. Roll call vote.
Buckholz, yes.
Holloway, yes.
Bennett, yes.
Grossman, yes.
Fulmer, yes.
Well, let it be known unanimous. Item 6, special meeting order of business, appointment of interim town council member to serve until special election.
I'd like to make a motion, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to make a motion that upon taking the oath of office, we appoint as interim town council member Ellen O'Brien to serve until our November special election.
We have a motion.
Second.
We have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, Ms. O'Brien, if you're watching, welcome aboard as soon as you get sworn in. So, thank you all very much. I want to thank the other 2 candidates for applying. Item 6B, town manager comments.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I asked that the clerk put this on here just in case there was something that came up that I needed to touch base with you on because we're so long between meetings. And actually, there is something I wanted to get your thoughts on, and that is the blessing of the fleet. So we typically do that early. It's typically on a Friday. We were going to do it the last day of April. I suggested we pushed off one day to Saturday to May because I was hoping that May might bring more relaxed restrictions than April. But having never experienced one of these things, I've been here a whole year and haven't experienced any of the normal events yet. I don't feel qualified to make the call. So I'm looking for input from you, from all of you, as to how, from what I understand, because having the wreath go out, it's a concentration of people, and it's typically well attended. And I guess I wanted to get your sense, because we need to plan it, and we're your sense of whether you think it's appropriate to do it now, or the other alternative would be to perhaps delay it to Memorial Day weekend.
So here's the kicker. In a nutshell, the reason why it's done on a Friday because all the watermen go home on Saturdays. There'll be no actual people there that owns the fleet
Yeah.
because they live away and they go home on Saturdays. So it's always done on Friday, so they actually got to enjoy it.
Right.
So
And
it's
I always got the feeling, and you would know better than I, that it's as early as it is because the whole idea is truly to bless the watermen and the fleet activities that are happening. So it's not necessarily, it's always cold, it's all, and all those things. I know that's not the issue, but that's part of what, I always stand there and think, they endure this on the water, kind of the winds and the whatever's going on.
So yes. So the main
It's close.
what?
100 people.
It's close.
100?
Yeah.
Yeah, at times it's been more.
Right,
Yeah.
but
It all depends,
approximately.
yeah.
General area.
Somewhere around 100, but the whole, I mean, we have tied in the Coast Guard and other boats into it, but the whole purpose of the blessing of the fleet was for the commercial guys. And if the commercial guys can't be there, and now most of them's gonna be left by May anyway. That's the reason why we had it early in April. And we endured the chills and stuff and
Yeah.
prayed for a random 70-degree day.
Yeah, but I
So
always
that-
really thought it was part of what they endure regularly for us.
Right.
It was part of that experience. I mean, I don't know if we can, spread out, it's pretty spread out. People aren't like, just during the ceremony, people get closer to here. But people spread out in that space pretty well.
What if we delayed it to the first Friday in May? Would that work? Because if we can get into May, I think there's a good chance the governor may make relax the restrictions even
I
more.
would rather do that than Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gotta be.
Oh, yeah,
Friday.
Saturday's out.
And I think probably a few boats will be gone by then, but that's fine.
Because they're definitely used to it when it is. They
Right.
know to count on that last.
But worst case scenario, let's say the governor doesn't reduce the restrictions and we're limited to 100 people, would you be comfortable with that?
Yes.
Okay.
So it would be April 30th is what you're looking at?
No, it would be the first Friday in May.
Oh, so you're gonna delay it 2 weeks? 'Cause it should be
Right, I'm
23rd.
saying if we can push it off into May, I think there's a higher probability that the governor will reduce the restrictions.
That's another state.
I think
Yeah, that's,
if we can do 100 people safely,
yeah,
I'd do it earlier.
Yeah,
yeah. I would keep it the same.
same.
Keep it on, keep it on the
Yeah, keep it.
the last Friday of April?
No, it's normally it's the 23rd, right?
Well, it's normally the Friday after Easter is when it normally is.
Well, Easter's.
Easter's.
It's already planned. There's
Yeah,
a date.
it's
Yeah, but I say, but it's
already
always-
been
it's
scheduled.
always-
I believe it's scheduled for the 30th of April right now, which is a Friday.
Right, but it's
And-
scheduled
and
late.
not understanding what you just explained, Mr. Mayor, I suggested pushing it one day just to get us
Right.
into May. But if you want to keep it the way it is now, I
Yeah.
think it's scheduled for the 30th of April.
Let's keep it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's,
And it's about a week.
it
later
started
than normally
in the
is.
first
Okay.
several years, and I hadn't really paid attention to what Jen had been doing, but realistically, it was the Friday, it always started, Blessing of the Fleet was always the Friday after Easter.
And
Okay.
recently, it's just been the same weekend as Garden, it fell into a package of Blessing of the Fleet, Garden Tour, and Blessing of the Worms.
Lesson one, correct.
It was just a weekend, and it was always kind of that fourth, April's weird this year because it's got 5 Fridays, but it's always been that fourth.
Right.
Because Garden Tour is the weekend before, the Saturday before. Blessing of the Worms, they're not doing, yet.
Okay.
They won't be doing it, so it doesn't throw that off.
That would be fine because some people will show up.
Yeah, we'll be fine, let's just do it on,
Okay.
Few of us probably won't be there.
yeah.
And it's not gonna work.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the input I was looking for, thank you. The other thing I wanted to touch base with you on, I had sent out a poll to all of you about something that, regarding trash pickup. And most of you came back and said that it was not an issue to move pickup from Tuesday to a Friday, but 2 of you had 2 very good comments, and as a result of that, it was no longer appropriate to deal with this over email. I needed to discuss it with you as a group. So the issue being that short-term rentals generally swap out on Saturday, and so with trash pickup on Tuesday, that creates a problem for them because new people coming in, have the previous renters' trash there. So the suggestion was, well, let's do it on Fridays. Let's do trash pickup on Fridays to help alleviate that. But Councilwoman Holloway made a good point that businesses can often put out a lot of trash on trash day. So now we're talking about putting out trash on a Thursday night, Friday morning, which now we're encroaching into the busy weekend part. So that's one problem.
What time's Davis come?
Well, they come in the morning.
But
Well,
then-
it depends on where you live.
It
Yeah.
lines up.
Come to my house in the afternoon.
Yeah. On Mason Avenue, it lines, just let me finish.
Yeah.
It lines up across the parking, all
Yep.
of Mason, and it's not clear quickly. It's
No.
not the first thing that they get.
What
I
time
just,
did-
and
what
I
time
don't
did
think it
the- What time
solves,
did the shop show?
can I just finish what I'm saying? I don't think it solves the problem because it's still, they switch on Saturday. So getting their trash out on Friday doesn't, I mean, it just, I don't think it's the solution that we're
But
looking
everywhere I've
No.
stayed, I've stayed at Cape May, down in Ida Banks, whatever, you deal with the other person's trash. They just got extra cans.
Yeah.
You just deal, you
No.
roll the other person's trash
And,
out.
and it's on them, I'm sorry, on the rental agents to make sure those cans go in and out. That's,
Yeah.
that's on them. I do not think,
what
I mean,
time-
one, I don't think it would be a very popular move with residents and businesses, especially residents, to change the day to accommodate short-term rentals.
Right.
We have enough kind of friction
that-
that we
But
need to
we've
address
had a
there.
lot of complaints over the years about the trash, telling you, from the residents over, we're gonna,
Well, they just
But
need
but
to-
what
we're getting a ton of complaints, because the trash is so much and it sits there for an entire week, because, I mean, if they come in on Tuesday, then you're doubling up on trash from the new people moving
Okay,
in.
that's,
and the people
that's the
dumping out.
agent's issue. They are responsible for that, and if we need to institute fines for them not doing it, no, I mean, there's ways to enforce it.
I don't see what the problem is moving to Friday, because, what time does the shops open on Mason? 11?
10,
And what time's the trash come?
it's,
It's often there.
it's
until it-
not always
It
gone much
ain't
10.
even the trash. I mean, if you think of people's getting to their shops, I bet you got cans lined up
Yeah.
Thursday night. They might come at 7 o'clock, but the people coming into their shops might not get there until 10.
But you've also got Friday evening parking, like restaurants and whatever, and when
Thursday
people
night
leave,
parking would be,
no,
yeah.
I mean,
And I'll be honest.
This
with
is
you,
not
I-
our problem to solve.
The other point was,
Sure it is.
no, it's not. No, this responsibility is with the agents just as it is with the residents who live here full-time. With this,
And I think we also need to say that
Totally
there are a
disagree.
lot of people who help each other.
Yes.
Like, I have residents that are not full-time, and we just take turns kind of rolling that. I mean, that's what
Yeah.
Cape Charles is about. There are a few, but I think we encourage those people to report a concern or whatever it might be, and then the agent has, or
Yeah.
whomever has to take care of it. But I think switching it based on that is not
no,
something that we should do, and to impact our business district.
no, it's,
yeah,
Yeah.
so that's why it was important to have this discussion for all of you. Most of you came back and said that you didn't think it was a problem, but the two points that were brought up I thought were valid. Tammy's was one, Andrew had the other one, which was that we have not yet begun working on the short-term rental regulations, which is a signal to the residents that you're important too. And if we make this switch entirely for the short-term rentals, with that, it could signal that that's our favorite, that we're favoring that over the residents. Now, if we were actively engaged in the short-term rental discussion and all that, then it's probably not as big a deal. But considering both of those I thought were valid comments,
And we just have more traffic in town on
Yeah.
Friday in general. So the traffic, just Davis getting in and out, there's just more.
and,
people.
and Mason Avenue can get a little rowdier on Fridays, so how many trash cans are gonna get over tipped? Yeah, it's a horrible idea, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know I was one that responded that I didn't think it was a big deal, but I never really thought about it.
yeah, I
what they
neither,
said.
yeah, I thought both of those were good points. So although I think it is a legitimate issue for the short-term rentals. I don't know that originally I thought that was an easy fix, but now I don't think so. So I'm going to close the loop with you that I don't think that that's the answer. But since I brought it up to you, I wanted to close the loop with you on it. Okay. The last thing I wanted to touch base on is the speed limit on Stone Road. I think you've seen a lot of the email traffic this week, and we finally found out that the town council did already approve a resolution, and VDOT did already do a traffic study, and they denied the request to reduce it. This was done in 18.
Early 18?
It's kind of get Lewis and Bloxman involved there.
So the council resolution was passed in April of 17, but it took a year before VDOT actually did the study, which was, I believe, in June of 18.
So right before we go.
I'll tell you, I would like another resolution. I want to talk to Lewis, I want to talk to Bloxham, I want to talk to the governor.
Yeah.
Agreed.
The county data 2 years ago is way different.
Yep.
Or 3 years ago, way
Yeah,
different.
especially
Yeah.
18 is when we opened 14
Because they-
businesses, you know.
They weren't even, I don't even think they were open yet.
May I? That's not the first traffic study that's been done, because we've been trying to get the speed limit lowered in front of Bay Creek to 25, so people could drive golf cars into town. And when they did the traffic study that I was involved in, which was, I don't know when that was, 2010 or 11 or something like that, the method they used is just checking car speeds on the road with the speed limit that's there. And if the average is such that it is lower than the speed limit, then they'll lower the speed limit. But if you've got a 55-mile-an-hour speed limit, there's no chance at all that you're going to get an average speed that will
Right.
allow them to lower it to 25 miles an hour. So the whole premise that they used at that time, I don't know what they're doing now, was counterproductive.
Right,
And the
it's not,
brewery wasn't
it's
open
not
when they
measuring the
opened.
traffic, how much traffic's there, it's measuring the
It's
speed.
speed.
No, it opened in June, July of, June.
But
Yeah, but-
But any resolution needs to include Old Cape Charles Road
Yep.
as well as Stone Road.
I had the bakery.
I'm sorry, say that again?
If we're gonna send another resolution to VDOT, it needs to include Old Cape Charles Road from the entrance of Bay Creek, at least to whatever the road is.
Old Cape Charles Road? The one that goes past Rosenwald?
That,
No,
no,
right, you're talking about, not
What
the
is the
access
name of
road.
Passat, isn't it, no?
You're not talking about the access road, you're talking about Old Cape Charles Road.
Old Cape Charles Road, which goes by Bay Creek, and then
Right.
when you can turn to go toward the hump,
Yeah.
that's 35 miles an hour in front of
Right.
Rosenwald as well.
But our corporate limits goes right to, just the Bender Lane on Old Cape Charles Road. So, I mean, if we're gonna do 25,
On one side, it's totally different.
I would prefer to treat those two separately.
Yeah, let's not
Yeah,
confuse
yeah,
them.
but because to develop the resolution, you have to put the rationale, develop all the rationale. That rationale was there for the brewery, for the
Yeah.
prior resolution. We would have to develop what that is for, and I don't have a really good idea of where you're talking
Yeah.
about yet. Let's do one at a time, do
well,
them separately.
I would like to see in the resolution that the resolution state 40 miles per hour at the beginning of the access road and reduce down to 25 at the corporate limits. Or Casat Parkway, or Casat Boulevard, or Casat,
Oh, it is
whatever.
Passat, I thought it was, I was like.
It's Casat something or other. I saw it the other day, I
Yeah,
missed
me
it.
too.
I had my glasses on, I couldn't see.
South Parkway.
So,
I
okay,
can't hear you, Smitty. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. You didn't hear me
I'm
now?
trying to type and I can't hear, yes.
so I don't know, the packet for the 15th is going to go out tomorrow. I don't know that we're going to have it in time for the 15th, but I don't know that it is that time sensitive. If it takes them a year to do
Yeah.
a traffic study from the time you do the resolution, I don't know that a month's going to matter so much. But I do know that Mark from the brewery intends to come and speak on the public comments on the 15th about this, and you also the traffic, email traffic on that. So he knows about. I provided him a copy of the study that was done. We are still actively working a golf cart path as the more immediate safety solution, and thanks to Main Street for their help on that. But we haven't figured that one out. We haven't finalized that one yet.
So we're, just to, can I just give a quick update on that, because I don't know.
Yeah, because I just saw that
So,
lines had gone up
there's
yesterday.
There's a temporary plan, and then we're still working on a more long-term plan, and trying to apply for Northampton County Infrastructure Grant to support that. But the temporary plan, I kind of pushed back into the brewery's hands, because that's right now the only connector there. Main Street contacted property owners to get permission to use that cut through. Come to find out, the property owners didn't know their lines very well. So it's actually on a property owner that didn't give approval, land. He's fine, but we're working through, they're just weird laid out lots. so it's gonna be jagged a little bit. So the people who, Devaney,
Yeah, Dan.
Dan, currently owns it and is selling it, but it's not in the seller's hands yet. He has given permission to use his land. And then there's a lot in between. So if you look at Beach Market, Beach Resort Custom Carts, Kevin, somebody's land,
That's the
and then,
playground,
and
right?
then to the right of that is the land. So it's gonna, Chris Marshall, got it out there. It's gonna have to kind of dog leg a little. But it'll be at least a temporary plan through, the summer, hopefully.
And just so you guys know, the golf cart, the market is outside the bounds, and so is Malcolm's Blue Place. Both outside the golf cart, based on where our sign is, it's both outside that.
No, no, no.
Yeah, they are.
No, I don't understand what you're
25
saying.
mile an hour.
We have a sign that's been put up right
Yeah,
for
we
the
gotta
Heritage
take that
Hall.
sign out, the one that's by Heritage Acres that nobody looks at.
But you got an acceleration, it's 40 right at the water tower. So the acceleration happens, I'm telling you, those two are not in the golf cart
But
district.
it doesn't, that golf cart sign, I'm sure was just plopped up there for God knows what, because it's not on the correct side of the road.
I get
It's
get
terrible.
that, but it's.
But it's
because
still
the-
25 miles an
You
hour.
get the acceleration lane, it's not, they're not in the golf cart technically.
Okay. All right, so my direction is to develop another resolution for VDOT. I probably won't get it on this agenda, but it will be on the next one.
Can we get it on the work session?
I'm sorry?
Can we get it on the May work session?
If there is one. At the moment, I don't have business for the May work session, but yes, the next time you meet, okay, we'll put it that
Okay.
way, okay?
More better.
You know, Linwood and Boston, what's that?
That's all I have, Mr. Mayor, thank you.
All right, Councilman Buckholz? Councilwoman Holloway? Vice Mayor Bennett?
I don't want to forget Old Cape Charles Road. Don't let that just fall off the table because we're concentrating on Stone Road.
Yeah,
Okay.
I agree.
There's a lot of people that can't get into town legally
Sure.
because of that speed limit.
I would just,
Legally.
just do a switch to all Cape Charles corporate limit, 25.
25.
period.
The
The
whole limit, the whole corporate limit, 25.
Let's make it simple. Whole town,
25.
yes.
That makes it simple.
But it also raises the bar.
I was
of-
gonna
of
say,
approval.
it makes it more
It's
difficult.
not our call. It's got, whether we agree with it or not, it's got to follow VDOT rules. And the more difficult or convoluted you make it, the less likely is
Yeah.
it's going to pass.
So they'll find
So let's take it incrementally
Yes.
and get what we need.
Absolutely.
It'll take longer, but we'll
Yeah.
get there better.
Okay. Councilman Grossman?
Well, let me add to the, I like the idea of going the entire limit and let VDOT slice off if they want to argue separately and allow us to go one way faster than the other, but
Angelo's, that property's gonna eventually get built out there, so we're gonna have to deal with it in the future, so why not do it now?
yeah, so I'd say do the whole town and put the burden on VDOT to come back and say
But
yes or no for portions. They're not gonna necessarily deny the whole thing.
I think,
I'm not sure that's the case. I think we make a single request, they respond to a single request.
And remember, just because you ask for it doesn't mean they're going to do it.
Yeah, I don't,
You could ask for the whole town and they just say no.
yeah,
Because they're going to have to do traffic studies in every location that you want changed. So the more reasonable your request, the more likely you are to get it done.
yeah.
Okay.
I don't think they're gonna do the work of then splitting up and saying, okay, well, you asked for A, but we're gonna
Yeah.
give you some part this, some part that.
It
I
is-
really don't think VDOT's gonna do
All
that.
right, so we'll get to you in 2 years. But
No, you-
comment-
no,
we'll get it faster than that.
no.
All right, so my comment really is, your package for the work session, if you haven't touched it, you need to get to it. There's a lot of stuff there. You can't read it an hour before the meeting, go, oh, got it. All right, so just a caution, that there is a lot of
Yeah.
material to go through. Should be a great meeting.
But it's in the firehouse.
But it's warm this time of year.
Meetings have not gone very well in the firehouse.
Firehouse is
before,
a
just so
terrible
you-
place for a meeting.
It is.
bad. Really bad. Especially if we still have to wear masks.
Well,
So hard to hear.
It is in a terrible place.
It is, yeah.
Build me a community center then.
Do I?
Did you have anything?
No,
You weren't
Andrew, you-
no, I don't.
I don't have anything other than, what I said earlier, so.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Opposed?